everybody, welcome to the informative world once again. So we have already completed chapter 1, food, where does it come from, successfully. Okay, now we are starting with chapter number 2 of our science book, components of food. Okay, in this chapter we'll come to know about all the components, all the nutrients which are present in our food, and also we'll come to know that we should take a particular food in a proper amount. Okay, so these points we have already learnt in our previous chapter, that food is essential for our growth, body's maintenance, and it also helps us to defeat virus. So food helps us to bring increase in our height, it maintains our body as well as helps us to defeat all the viruses and diseases. So we have also learned that food is not only of one type but various types, and people living in different parts and states of India have different food habits. Okay, now we are now going to learn different nutrients which are present in our food. So mainly there are 7 nutrients in our food. So they are as follows: carbohydrates, fats, proteins, mineral salts, vitamins, water, and roughage or fiber. So these are the 7 main nutrients. Out of them, these 3 are the most important ones. Which 3 am I talking about? Carbohydrate, protein, and fats. So these 3 nutrients are the most important ones. Now, here are also some activities given. This chapter is full of activities. So, how to test presence of protein in any food. So, here they have given an activity. They have performed an activity. So, I am reading this activity for you. So, what do we need? Materials required are raw egg white or any other protein sample. So raw egg white is the albumin. Okay. And any other protein sample, copper sulfate, blue vitiol solution, caustic soda, and test tube. So these are the things which is required. Now how we have to test this, the presence of proteins. So now put the albumin in a test tube. Now what we need to do? Now we need to add 2 to 3 drops of copper sulfate solution as well as 10 to 12 drops of caustic soda solution. Now we have to shake it. Shake well. Now what do we observe? We observe that the color changes to purple, or we can say violet. And purple-violet color indicates the presence of protein in food. Now how to test presence of sugar? Sugar can also be called as glucose in food. So what do we need here? We need crushed pieces of potato and apple, glucose solution or sugar solution. Okay, Benedict's solution. This solution is blue in color. Test tubes and burner. So these are the things which is required for this activity. Now how can we test the presence of glucose in any food? Now do as follows. Take crushed pieces of potato and apple and glucose solution in 3 separate test tubes. So now we have to take separately crushed pieces of potato, apple, and glucose, and we have to put them separately into the test tubes. Okay, separately. Now we have to add a few drops of the blue solution, the Benedict solution, in every test tube we have taken. Now we have to heat them gently. Okay, you have to take, in this case, any adult's help here. So heat this very gently. Now what do we observe? The test tubes containing crushed apple and glucose solution turn into a red precipitate. That means they change into their red color. No such change occurs in the test tube containing potato. So we cannot see red color in potato. The color of the potato remains the same. No change can be seen here in the second test tube which contains the potato. and formation of a red precipitate indicates the presence of sugar. Always remember that formation of red color always indicates the presence of sugar. The test also indicates that potato does not contain sugar, and here we can also see that the potato does not contain sugar as it does not change its color. Now we have to perform activity 3 also similarly. Now how to test the presence of starch in food? How can we test it? So we need here slice of bread or potato, iodine solution and dropper. Okay. Now how can we test? Place a drop of iodine solution on the food sample. Now whatever food sample you have taken, just place a drop of iodine solution on it. And now what do we observe here? Black color where iodine solution is applied indicating the presence of starch. Now you can see here that the food's color becomes blue or black, and this blue and black color indicates the presence of starch in food. Okay. Here they have also given how to prepare iodine solution. So let's read this out aloud. Take tincture iodine solution from first aid box in your school in a test tube and dilute it by adding water. Iodine solution is ready for you. So this is how you can prepare iodine solution for yourself. Now let's perform activity 4 also. These activities are extremely important. Okay. If you want, you can perform them, but you have to keep this mind that the purple or violet color indicates the presence of protein in the food, while if we talk about the red color, so it indicates the presence of sugar. If the food changes color to blue or black, that means the food contains starch. Okay, now activity 4, which is how to show the presence of fats in food. Now let's see it. Now here we need butter or a drop of oil, piece of white paper. Now how can we test this? Let's see here. Rub a small amount of butter on the paper or put a drop of oil on the paper. Now we have to rub a small amount of butter on the paper which we have taken, and we have to put a little drop of oil on the paper. Okay. Now we have to dry the paper, and now hold it in front of a source of light. Now here we have to, now in order to dry it, you can hold it in front of any source of light. Okay. Now what do we observe here? The paper becomes smooth, oily and less transparent. So now you see that the transparency of the paper becomes very low. Okay. And along with this, it also becomes very oily and smooth. Okay now. So here they have given something to note that kerosene and petrol also make paper transparent, but these are not food materials and do not contain fat. ठीक है, तो kerosene और petrol food material नहीं है. Though they make the paper transparent, they can make the paper transparent. Now let's perform activity 5 to demonstrate the presence of water in food. Now here we have to see the presence of water. Now how can we do this? Now we need for this here food samples, fresh potato slices and spinach leaves, petri dishes, balance and weight box. Now how can we test using these materials? Now take equal weights of the two samples in separate dishes. Okay. Now we have to put the equal weights of the samples of the food samples we have taken in separate dishes. Now keep these dishes in an oven at 80 to 90 degrees centigrade or in sunlight for a few days. So either you put it, you have to heat it. Okay, either you put it in a microwave oven for heating it at 80 to 90 degrees centigrade, or either you put it in the sunlight for a few days. Now after 4 to 3 days, when you will take this out, now we have to weigh the food samples. Okay, weigh the food samples again. Now after 3 days or 4 days, now take the food samples out and now weigh them. Now what do we observe here? There is a reduction in weight of the two samples. That means what happened here? Yes, here loss of water took place. Water reduction took place. The water here condensed. Yes? No. the water here evaporated. It flew away in a gaseous form. So here it evaporated, not condensed. So don't do this mistake. So thanks everybody.